The League Podcast.
I don't know nobody else that's doing this. Bodies start to drop, ayy, hit the floor. Now they wanna know me since I hit the top, ayy. This a rolling, not a stop. Watch shit don't never stop. This the flow that got the block hot. Shit got super hot.
Hooney,
Hello, hello.
what's going on? How are you?
Nothing much.
How was your day?
It's a little chilly out, but I like it. It's that 60-degree weather. I feel like Cali.
No, Cali weather is higher than 60
Yeah, you're
degrees.
right.
It's like 80 degrees. My wife is from Cali. You know, I know Cali weather.
Yeah, you're right.
So thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oops, that's my monitor. How was? Did you get a chance to listen to the podcast
I
with
did.
your cousin?
It was good.
Yeah, how'd you like it?
It was really good. A lot of questions for the commissioner. I think he addressed all the questions, properly.
Did it seem like he sidestepped some of these questions?
Yeah.
I
But
thought
that's-
maybe I didn't drill him hard enough.
Yeah,
Whoa.
but that's what motherfucking Hunkster does.
He's your
You know what I'm
cousin.
saying?
Yeah? Is that what he does? Is that what he's known for?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So I was thinking, we could get right into the show. But since this season, it's going to be everyone's first time on,
Yeah.
right? So, why don't you go ahead and just, say hi. I mean, everyone knows each other, but
Yeah.
how long have you been doing fantasy football? How serious are you? How's Anna? How's life? Just
All right.
say what's up.
I've been in the league probably 3 years now, maybe 4. I think, yeah, something like that. I haven't been in very long
Well, I
but,
think it's 5 years now, 6 years.
for the league
Yeah,
altogether.
yeah. I thought
Oh.
you were like 2 or 3 years.
Well, last year I got 3rd, and then the year before that I got like 8th, and then the year before that I got like
Oh, so you've been in the league for a while then.
yeah,
Okay.
somewhat of a donation every year almost, but
Right, you're just
the
all the way
memorable
in the
ones,
bottom.
yeah.
Right.
But it's okay, it's a learning curve
It-
for
it-
fantasy in general. But I mean, I think in general with fantasy, I wasn't too serious until this league, so I think it's more
Oh.
of a incentive for me to try harder to beat some of the older heads like the Youngs, more of
It's-
the ego.
It's always nice to get the prize, but it's
Of
also
course.
just nice to beat the people
Yeah.
that you know.
Just
Right.
seeing
Bragging rights.
their
Um,
face after a loss.
Were you with the league when we did the? I think at some point the buy-in went up. I think it used to be like $50.
Oh no, I started when it was 100.
Really?
Yeah.
At a certain point, I think it was like $50, maybe even 20.
Yeah, I think they were talking about that. Every year it increased because of James Young pushing for it, which
Which I was okay with. I
Yeah.
remember when we first started doing the league, this was like, the fantasy league everyone has that's like, oh, I don't really care about because
Yeah.
the buy-in was small.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
There's no reward or anything. You know.
you don't see it for like
Right, you're sitting
4
here
months.
like in a $200 buy-in
Yeah.
where your prize is way much higher, so you're gonna focus on that one,
Exactly.
that roster.
that's what happens.
Right, so that was me for a while, but then it started getting pretty serious, right?
Yeah,
$100 now,
Yeah. The
right.
prize money's pool is bigger, double the amount.
right?
Yeah,
But you started getting serious because of this league, huh?
yeah. I mean, before it's between friends and all that kind of stuff. I mean, of course it's fun, but there's more of incentive for a younger guy or a young to try not to lose to the Tongzeng or beating their young. It's kind of different. It's a different dynamic, especially with friends. You're just kind of, oh yeah, bragging rights, kind of like that. But then after that, it's you kind of lose that incentive to work harder. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to say. I think just in that friend world, you can kind of get competitive, but
So I think that there are people who do fantasy that really love fantasy, right?
Yeah.
People who do fantasy and not only do fantasy, but they do like drafts, kings, and all the daily fantasy
FanDuel,
stuff, FanDuels and stuff, right? And those people are probably more so. Maybe they might have an issue with maybe like gambling or something. Maybe
Mhm.
there's a bigger cause to it. But
Yeah.
with fantasy football, I think it's not fun unless it's interactive. You know what I
Agreed,
mean?
Agreed. Yeah.
If you've got, I mean, even if it's with coworkers, even if it's with friends, if you guys are just setting up your lineup every week, right? No, barely making any waiver wires. There's no talk. There's no community,
Yeah.
if you will, right? Then it's just about, okay, who's picking up the best waiver wires, and and it's not as fun. It's not as fun. Which is why I think this is pretty cool, right? The fact that we have these honkster picks that we do, and the group chat, and now with this whole trade veto change that we're trying out, right?
Yeah,
I think people are really getting into trades. The amount of trade offers I've gotten from you and just from everyone else this year alone probably must have at least doubled. Before, it used to just be, David, you.
Mm-hmm. It's addictive. I'm not gonna lie. Trading is addictive. Once you trade once and you let go of somebody, you kind of have the feeling you want to keep doing it to see. I understand David now why he's labeled as trade rate. You know what I'm saying? Because it makes sense. Because at a certain point, if you get somebody to make a trade with you, or you convince them, whether it's through talk or behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. Bribes. I don't know. David did a good job. Like you guys talked about this with Paul last week, but his team does not look the same as it did draft day.
It still doesn't look good. I don't know if it. I don't know if.
No, I mean, yeah, I agree.
I mean, I think what he's
numbers. It's just everybody has a solid team. He's, the points forced against him is kind of high.
Let's look at his team just because we have it here. But I think what he's doing is he's collecting all these injured, these people that are supposed to be coming back, right?
Like
Le'Veon
Breida.
Bell, right? It's what I mean.
I definitely.
James Conner, Dalvin Cook.
He's getting some good value out of his trades.
Is Dave? This is David U, right?
Yeah,
David's better team, right?
Yep.
Where did all his running backs go? James Conner, Dalvin Cook, Breida.
Yeah.
And then he's got Le'Veon Bell and Joe Mixon, right? Yeah. 5 RB1s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if Le'Veon Bell comes back,
Yeah, he's holding out.
I think so.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't
Mike
think
Tomlin's not having it. He's not coming back.
And especially Mike Tomlin being that kind of coach. I don't think he's that kind of coach where he's gonna bend over backwards. He's gonna be pretty cutthroat. He's gonna be like, you don't want to be on the team, you're off the team. Sure. I don't care who the fuck you are, right?
Yeah.
Real quick, Joe Mixon.
Yes,
He's
sir.
not on your team.
He is not.
He is. He was drafted by you. Is that not correct?
Correct.
So
I got a great value for him, I think, through the draft. But
through the trade. I
traded him. No, well, I'm saying when I drafted him, I got him at a good, good round of when I drafted him. I think it was like 5th round or something, which is a good value. But the reason I traded, because I saw a lot of people vetoed, and you discussed this earlier. Yeah. So basically, I don't like injuries to the knee for running backs in general.
Okay.
Whether they have the state-of-the-art physical therapists or, they just go through way too much stress on their knee as a running back, and I just do not like that. I think it's probably like PTSD from like a lot of other running backs getting their knee injured and then not coming back 100%. That's the scary part for me. But the reason I actually I actually initiated the trade.
Okay.
And I really wanted Mark Ingram, even though Alvin Kamara is blowing up. And the reason for that is because the Saints offense still does not have an established run game. And it kind of contradicts each other.
Who?
The Saints.
The Saints?
And the reason I say that is because Alvin Kamara is like a Tevin Coleman to the Falcons, right? Because you have Devonta Freeman, who's the workhorse.
Okay.
And then Tevin Coleman's like the catch running back. Right,
pass catching running back. Backs, okay.
Yeah, and the reason I think the Saints were so lethal last year and they made it to the NFC Championship, played the Vikings, was because of that lethal weapon that they had, that Mark Ingram, who's the stud. He can come in, just break tackles and wear out defenses.
Right, ground
and then
pound.
and then Alvin Kamara can come in and pass catching running back. or running back, just coming in on third downs, and he's elusive, he's fast, he's agile, right? Because he's fast, and that's the thing. I love that about the versatility of the running backs, and it adds a different value. They're both 1,000-yard rushing running backs last year on the same team.
I mean, yes,
you don't see that a lot.
They were, and I would say that 1-2 punch is probably one of those 1-2 punches where it's almost split down the middle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like one running back is looking at a more of a workload.
Mm-hmm.
These guys, if Mark Ingram blows up this week, it would not surprise me. If Calvin,
Well, he would play next week. Yeah, serving his suspension, last one this year.
oh, well, I
this
mean,
week.
yes,
Yeah.
in 1 week, not this week, but in a week,
Yeah.
right? If he blows up, it wouldn't surprise me. If Kamara blows up, it wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me. If they both have a really,
Yeah.
you know,
I just think they have a different plan, right? Because when you have running backs like that, and you see it right now, Drew Brees has been throwing all day.
yes,
And they're going
Thank you,
for
Drew Brees.
Yeah, they're breaking records right now.
yes, sir. Thank
and
you,
then
Drew
Michael
Brees.
Thomas. But yes, I mean, I stand by my my trade. I mean, if people wanted to veto, they could have vetoed. Unfortunately, you guys didn't get enough vetoes to veto it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Are you happy
So-
with that trade?
I'm actually very happy with that
Yeah.
trade
Mark Ingram is coming back next week.
next week.
Next
And
week.
it's not even like Mark Ingram's injured, right? He's coming off a suspension for what was it, a drug substance, something like that,
Probably
steroids.
something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. I see. Okay, cool. All right. Anything else you want to tell our listeners about yourself, about your fantasy? So now you're starting to get really into it.
Yeah.
And when I don't know. I guess I don't really recall when you were, I guess, a beginner rookie,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Because I was never a rookie.
Yeah.
Mm.
You were in 8th place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
that's
fight for 8th place. I'm not a bottom feeder. I've never engraved it, and I never will engrave that trophy.
I got close, but it was only because I didn't know there was a losers playoff brackets. I thought after
Consolation. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
so I didn't care, and luckily, without touching my lineup, I still
Mhm.
end up getting 11th place, whatever.
That's how it happens.
That was when I was picking like all Ravens players.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all Ravens players. What about the Eagles? How are you liking your Eagles? We got
Carson
another
Wentz
Eagle
back.
fan,
Yeah.
right? How did you
Ooh.
become an Eagle fan? Let me start with that.
So it started. I began watching football in like 2000,
Okay.
the year 2010.
How old were you then?
So born in 90.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what happened was, I believe my dad was a Redskins fan,
Okay.
right? He supports the local team. Makes sense. But the thing is, as a kid, I didn't really follow like what he, I kind of wanted to root against sometimes. I'm just that type of guy for
You're
some
just a
reason.
rebel.
Yeah. I just like to root against them.
Okay, then why?
Because it makes sense. It makes it more fun to watch. If you're all rooting for the same team sometimes, I mean, it's fun, but you need that kind of rivalry, or, it just feels different.
Are you an instigator?
I am. I sure am.
Because I actually might disagree with you. I kind of like it when everyone
Can
roots
cheer
for the
together.
same team.
But
Yeah,
if you're all, if
that
you're all in a bad mood, you're all in a bad mood, and if they're playing well,
Right. Then
everyone's in a good
I
mood,
mean, trust me, I've had a lot of games where me and Gita would watch a Ravens and Steelers game, and one person is gonna be pissed off
Of
at
course.
that end of the night. You know what I mean? And
and it's my job to make them feel even worse.
that's what I'm saying. You're the instigator, right?
Which is fun. I mean, try to play that role.
Hey, I'm not.
It's not fun to play in that other role. I played it for years when the Eagles didn't win, So
And then all the Redskins.
I've been
fan
on
were-
the
See, man. See, you got
People
the
try to convert
Redskins.
me.
You got the Redskins
yeah.
in your division. That's the problem, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's probably bigger the reason. Yeah, but yeah, that's when. I mean, 2000 is when it's kind of sparked. That's when I watched football, and then Donovan McNabb got signed to the Eagles,
yes.
and so then that's when I started following football. I
Right.
said, "Look, I'm gonna."
That was assigned to the Eagles. So you were there for the entire Donovan McNabb
Yeah.
era,
Mhm.
and then you witnessed
When
him
he led
go
them
to
the
the
Super Bowl.
Redskins,
Mhm, I got sick, yeah.
and
Wasn't great, but that's
Yeah.
how I follow the Eagles.
You chose a very hard team to like.
Yeah,
But congrats
I mean they've been on the rise.
on the
Yeah.
first Super Bowl. How did you feel? Did you go to Philly? Did you do anything? For it?
I made my first phone call to Pascal. He was crying.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not as
So-
hardcore. I would say that I'm not as hardcore as Pascal, where I'm at the point where I'm crying because I'm happy. I was happy that we beat the Patriots.
Oh my god,
Because
I was happy.
who doesn't root against the Patriots in a Super Bowl, right?
that,
whether it's any
except for
NFC team.
Patriot fans.
I agree.
Yeah,
But-
there's Patriots fans.
There are
Right.
not many of those.
I don't remember if it was last year, but there was one. It was recent, maybe last year, 2 years ago. But there was a situation where the Steelers could have played against the Patriots, good to get at the AFC Championship. And I was like, I don't know if I could watch that game. I don't know who I would like cheer for.
That's a good question.
You know what I mean?
Who would you cheer for?
And I think
I think you would have to just cheer for the Steelers. at that
yeah,
point.
I think that's the conclusion I ended up coming up with. I was like, I think as much as I hate the Steelers, I
Mhm.
think I hate the Patriots
Yeah.
more. You
No,
know,
you 100%. I agree with you.
It's crazy. And I would have never said that.
But the
I would
thing
have
is-
never imagined saying that
Yeah.
10 years ago. You know what I mean?
Well, it's. I mean, I think it's like if you're in the NFC East and the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl, and you're a Redskins fan, I think at that point you got to give some credit to the Eagles and start cheering for them, right? Because they're in the same division.
No.
They're playing
No.
against the Patriots.
No. Let's.
I mean, you say that now, but it's like
let's see
you
what
lost your chance to make it into the playoffs.
Let's see what James says
All right.
about this,
That's
because
good.
I guarantee you,
No, I
he's
mean,
not gonna
yeah.
root for the Eagles.
We'll see. We'll see what he says. But again, I don't
No,
see why he
no,
wouldn't.
no.
cheer.
You would root for your AFC team, right?
But why?
Every
to see the other-
every time the Steelers went to the Super Bowl, I've always cheered for the NFC team. Actually, with the AFC, it's always been like what Steelers, Patriots, and then the freaking Colts when they had Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Right. Those were like the three freaking roadblocks to our Super Bowl, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I've always just rooted for NFC. Why would I root for? You know.
Good question.
I mean, we'll ask James.
Yeah, we'll see what he says.
But
I mean, no
I'd
hard
be
feelings
very
if he doesn't.
shocked. I would be very shocked if he said, "Yeah, my NFC Eagles." Okay, cool. What about Pascal? How did Pascal get into the Eagles
I actually have no clue.
to the point where he's that passionate? I mean, he's just a passionate guy.
yeah, he
right?
is. I mean, he's following drafts, right? Who the Eagles are picking up.
Oh, I mean, I do that with the
Look at
Ravens. You don't do that with the
Not as much.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Maybe back in the day, but nowadays not as much. So, yeah, he's kind of like that. I think. I mean, and same. I think the same goes for like David. Of how.
Oh, yeah,
we're Eagles
David
fan.
James is an Eagle
Yeah.
fan.
So, it's fun watching it with David and Chong is also an
Oh,
Eagles
yeah,
fan.
Chong Shiki,
So I don't
okay.
know how these Koreans are moving towards.
I
the
feel
Eagles,
like
but-
with that group, it was just like a thing of like group association. You know, like I don't know who was the first OG
Mhm.
Eagles fan, but it's like, oh, my friend's an Eagle fan, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna be an Eagles fan. I'm gonna cheer for the team I like. No,
I don't
maybe
think so.
not.
No, I think because again, I think that's a little ways down the road because I met David a little past the point where I like the Eagles. But yeah, who knows? We'll ask them.
Yeah,
come
when
onto
they
the
when
podcast.
they get on.
Yeah.
Awesome. How are you enjoying the season so far?
It's fun.
And
Good.
Eagles wise, or
Yeah.
just
Carson Wentz coming back. It was good.
he
Actually,
looked
so I made a trade offer to Scott Young, but I don't know Scott Young too well.
okay.
And so I just ended up canceling it. But the trade was Cooper Cup for Jay Ajayi. I'm sorry.
That's
Yeah,
the
that
trade
was
that
your
you
trade.
sent me,
And he's
which
actually
we'll
blowing
talk
up.
about in the fantasy section.
But it was Cooper Cup for, let me see what his running backs were. Give me 1 second. Chris Carson on the Seattle Seahawks.
oh
Yeah. And I thought it was a pretty even trade.
no, it's not. Chris
And-
Carson for Cooper Cup. Listen,
All right,
listen.
and here's why I'm saying this. Because he has a pretty solid running back core. And he has Lamar Miller, Tevin Coleman, who has Devonta Freeman out. I understand that. But Leonard Fournette and T.J. Yeldon.
But
Chris Carson's the RB1. I get that. And there's weapons on the Rams that we can discuss in a minute. But
okay, yes. I'm gonna type this in here right now, right? Because right underneath that fantasy news,
Google?
right? No, just because. Let's go to the NFL news real quick. Just whatever, just a couple of them, right? And then we'll get to the fantasy, get to the meat and bones of it all. Because you offered a similar trade, I think, to me.
Yeah.
Right, Cooper Kupp for like Jay Ajayi or something, right? And I will now. The reason why I didn't accept. I looked at it and I was like, nope, I'm not gonna. I don't want that trade. And then I looked to do a counter, right? But then I was like, eh. And I'll explain my thought process after we go through the NFL news. So let's get to it.
What do we play? About 14? Is it 14 weeks in the whole fantasy season?
I think,
right? And then
so.
Playoffs start week 12. So it's about 11 weeks of highest points scored we give out. So it's $110. So the way I look at it is not like so much on the idea of the pot, but it's kind of weird to give out the highest score $10 a week. And it's hard to explain my opinion on that because it's just unique. I've never seen it in any other league, right? I feel like not many people do it.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I guess it's another way for you to get money. But if you wanted to do that, at that point you should just join FanDuel.
Well, so
okay,
one, I think in a good way, this is probably good that this league is unique as opposed to other leagues, right? In the sense, right? And not just this sense, but everything that we're doing with it, right? But I think number two, I think I talked to your cousin Paul about it, and I think it had a lot to do with once people were out of playoffs, right? It gave them some sort of incentive to, or like if your team was just bad, right?
Yeah.
Just an incentive to at least keep trying, so that way if you do end up scoring a lot of points, you'll get some money back. You know what I mean?
I definitely understand that.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just another way for people to kind of break even or get some of that money back. I mean, it's $10,
Yeah.
I think I got it.
But that's one donation, That's basically a David Jang donation.
That's true. That is one donation.
You're just spreading it out to everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess more likely than not, it will probably go to the best team, right?
Yeah, I mean, because the thing is, like, what if you're the highest scorer every week, right?
Yeah, you would get an
That's
extra
crazy.
$100,
Exactly.
and your payout wouldn't be 800.
But
Like
it's
900.
unlikely to happen. But yes.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, no, I mean, I just wanted to hear everybody else's thoughts. I wasn't bashing on it. I just
You're just salty that you never won it.
well, no, I did win the last year. Just
Yeah.
not happening right now. So we'll see what everybody else has.
Dude,
to say about it.
everyone's scoring a lot of points this season.
I know it's becoming too much of a passing league.
Did he change it from the PPR? Isn't it 0.75?
0.75, yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah. No,
Like-
but it's always been 0.75 when I joined.
I know. But did he change it secretly without us knowing? Because I'm sitting here, I'm like, ooh, 130 points.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna get myself $10, right? And I look at the matchups, and it's like 150 points, 160 points. I'm like, damn, I'm like the lowest. Like, what's going
it's
on?
like 170s now.
Yeah,
right?
man, it's
For the highest-
crazy.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes. But anyways.
Quarterbacks, yeah.
Yeah, quarterbacks.
Scoring crazy amounts.
They are. Okay. Football news. So Panthers signed Eric Reed.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one. Yep,
Yeah.
1 year deal. He's still doing his whole collusion against the NFL. So can there be a collusion if someone signs you? You know what I mean? Isn't the whole point of collusion saying like oh, owners stay away from this guy because he's just a headache? But if someone signs you, how you know what I mean?
Something's going on there.
If
But they'll
Kaepernick
figure it out.
gets signed, can he be like collusion? You know?
Who
Interesting.
knows?
Maybe I'm missing some part of the story there.
There's always something missing with the NFL.
Yes. Second thing I wanted to talk about was NFL to Twitch, which we're
We
doing
were
right
watching
here
it
right
a little
now,
bit
right?
earlier. Yeah.
Let's check out the score actually while we're here because it's on break.
I think it's awesome though. I think Twitch is evolving.
So let's because I know you're familiar with Twitch,
Yeah.
right? But I'm sure some of our Woo, what a game.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what a game. We need to wrap this up so we can watch this game. Explain to... Don't get distracted. I'm going to turn this off. Explain to our audience that don't know what Twitch is.
Twitch is a live streaming
Platform.
platform for people to, I think it's kind of like people watch YouTube. It's easily accessible, right? You can watch live YouTube as well. People are more familiar with YouTube in a way where people can watch vlogs to like mukbangs to like different
recorded.
kinds of
Records.
But Twitch, I think, started for gamers for them to set a platform and have a bigger audience of people watching how they play, right? And it's the bigger streamers that get more attention, which I think that's why, anybody can stream their videos live, right? We've had different types of phone softwares where you could do that, live streams and all that. But again, Twitch was, I think, primarily for gaming, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I think the biggest difference between YouTube and something like Twitch is that one is more recorded, and now YouTube does have live. You know, you can stream things live, but I think Twitch was one of the big ones to kind of start off the whole streaming thing. And Jimmy Kimmel actually had, I guess, a bit where he made fun of gamers about this, and there was a huge backlash in the community, and he even further made fun of him. But anyways, that's a different topic. But he was saying, like, he was kind of making fun of him because there are people who like games that are watching other people play games, right? Which, if you say it like that, it sounds kind of weird. Right?
Whenever you break anything down like that, it just kind of sounds stupid. But
it's like, why wouldn't you want to play the game instead of, right? But as a gamer myself, and you obviously who are into gaming, it's a little bit more than that. Yeah. Right.
Different strategies.
Understanding
how pros play.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Right. The technical skills. Right. Yeah. But actually, just to give a little bit more of the background information, one of the big things that, like, why Twitch is so important is that at least right now, this up and coming esports era, right? People who are competitively playing video games as a profession, right? Yeah. There's a problem in that profession in the fact that you can spend an entire years and years to prepare for a tournament, and you don't get any monetary payout. I mean, you might get some sponsorships here and there, but if you really want to, like, be successful and make money from it, right? You have to win the entire thing. Yeah. Right. And there's only one winner. So you let's say League of Legends. Let's say there's thousands of teams that are going to this tournament, and they spend their entire lives, right? This is their job, playing, working on communication, technical skills, right? And they get to second place, third place, and I think when you get ranked that high, I think you get some money back, but not enough like the first place, right? So what these guys have to do is they have to make money in order to support what they're doing other ways, which is content creations, right? Streaming, podcasting, streaming, Twitch, playing games live, explaining what they're doing, talking to the community, subscriptions. It's a very, very huge platform. If people don't realize what Twitch is, right? Yeah. And it's big. I think because first, it's the first free streaming NFL online service. Yeah. Right. That's officially approved by the NFL. Right. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I remember there's been times, I I think when I was like late in class, and it was like a Monday night game, like, damn, just looking through all the, those shady sites,
Yeah.
that
With
that
like
probably
20 ads.
yes,
Yeah.
and you just like you have to figure out which like window you have to like click out of to see that.
Exactly.
Oh my
Yep.
goodness, I hated that thing. I'm
Mhm.
just sitting there every time I went to that link, I was like, I wonder how many viruses I'm putting on my computer,
For sure.
right?
Yeah.
But this is the first time you can just be like, oh, I think Watch ESPN had some Monday nights, but right now they're saying all Thursday nights, right? So I think them opening up that online streaming market would be big.
Mm-hmm.
And then two, I think the fact that they chose Twitch is not also a coincidence, right? First, Twitch is now owned by Amazon, so
Oh, wow.
Amazon.
Yeah,
Prime,
Amazon used
right?
to stream it as well.
Right.
Okay.
But two,
That makes sense.
esports, like, maybe they're realizing this is gonna be the future, right? Esports. So
Yeah.
why not put our brand into where millions and millions of people are gonna come to watch, right? I think it's great. I think it's awesome.
I think it's awesome too.
and especially combining the sports world to the esports world. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Sure.
Let's see. Baldwin ready to go. Says knee is okay. Do you have Baldwin?
I do.
You do.
Mhm.
Any trade
He is not.
on the market?
Well, he is on the market.
He's on the market.
Yeah.
Trading. Okay. You know what? You might be the perfect candidate to try out at trade talk segments, right? You should just make an announcement. You can do it now. You can do it
Yeah.
later. But
I mean,
make an announcement
I
to be like,
I
this is
would
what I
say-
need. This is who I'm giving away. Like,
Yeah.
You want to do it? You want to do it now?
I can. I mean,
Okay.
I don't have much, but what I can say is my whole team is up for sale.
You always say that.
With
Okay.
with the restriction of David, you sending me any trades?
This is where we put that
Yeah.
quiet letter.
Yes, right there. Except, yeah, I'm not accepting any trades from David you anymore. I got what I needed from him. But
Oh my goodness! Did you know that Jay Ajayi has a back fracture?
ooh, so it's interesting because I try to offer you Cooper Cup, right?
Yeah,
And it looks like Cooper Cup has 2 touchdowns and
right now.
yes sir.
Get the hell out of here!
I'm not joking.
You're lying.
2 touchdowns and he's looking good on receptions as well. So
Woo!
it's a very good trade that we almost didn't have, right? So
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
yeah.
I'll explain my. Actually, I think that's all the news. So let's just go into the fantasy
Okay.
section of it. Before we get into our trades or our potential trades, what do you think about your team? What's your record? How you doing?
I'm 1-2.
You're 1-2.
I have the most points forced against me, like I always do every year. So I'm the most unlucky guy, but I still, I'm hanging in there. At 7th
Wait.
place.
Let's slow that down a little bit. You have the most
Points forced against me. So people are just going high, like very high against me almost every week.
Is
So-
that a stat?
Yes, it is.
Forced
Points.
against you? What does that mean?
Well, it's actually just the initials would be PA, points against.
Oh, points against. Okay, I see.
And then
So you're just saying,
yeah,
yeah,
points
people
forced. Yeah,
people score a
people
lot
score a
against
lot
you.
on me.
Okay. Oh, I see.
yeah,
Because
I
you're
mean,
unlucky. Because
I
they-
like my team. I think it's solid, right? Having trouble with running backs currently, but again, it's only week 4, and I'll make it through.
It's week 4. That means a third of the season's over.
Oh, for sure. But
I mean, not even because if it's 12.
I don't think I'm in a bad position.
Let me see. Hoon's here. 1 and 2. Yes. So I looked at your team earlier today, and your running back situation is pretty bad.
It is. But what happens is, I had a Marlon Mack pick up on the waiver wire. And
Marlon Mack,
he's
okay.
coming off injury. He's feeling better as well. So, again, if people are looking to trade running backs for wide receivers, and I'm not offering these weird, these bad trades, right? I don't set you up for failure, in my opinion.
Okay, so here's my take on it. I feel like, and I'm not a professional. I'm
Mhm.
not, take my advice with a grain of salt. But in my head, I think wide receivers are just a little bit more riskier than running backs. You know what I mean?
100%, I agree.
100% agree, right? So to me, right, so would it be okay? Yes, I've had requests for Barkley, right,
Saquon? Okay.
for some receivers
Mhm.
because I am a little bit receiver light on my team, right?
Mhm.
But to me, if I don't know that receiver is going to be like a sure thing,
Mhm.
right? Like Barkley right now, I think he's like the only running back with over 100+ scrimmage yards every game so far, right?
All purpose, yeah.
Yeah, all purpose yards, right? So, like I need to make sure that like to me, it's like, okay, if I'm gonna give away a short 25 points, okay, maybe that's a little stretching.
Yeah.
Maybe 17
that
points
offense,
or whatever,
yeah.
17, 20 points, whatever it is, right? I mean, pretty consistent, right?
Mhm.
I want to make sure I get a receiver that's gonna give me something that pretty consistently, right? So Cooper Kupp, I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to have big weeks like this, right?
Well, I didn't offer the Saquon. I just want to be clear on that.
Well, I know
Yeah,
I know you didn't.
I just didn't want
right?
I don't want the audience to misinterpret that as me offering Cooper Kupp for Saquon Barkley.
No. You actually asked for everyone else except for
Yeah.
Stephon Barkley. You asked for. Did you even ask for Collins? I think.
I think I did, but I think I was offering you Thielen, which
No, you didn't offer me Thielen because
did
if it
not?
was Thielen, I would have seriously considered it.
okay,
Yeah.
maybe.
I know. I don't know. People have been requesting for Alex Collins and all my running backs, right? But yeah, so that's my feeling, and especially now. So that's why my draft strategy was get the sure running backs, get
Mhm.
the big running backs, right? That is going to be dependable for, you don't have to think about starting it or not.
Yeah.
They're like, it doesn't matter what defense you're playing. They're just an automatic starter.
Mhm.
Get those guys, right? And then receivers are the ones where I'm going to be like, okay, let's look at matchups. Let's look at secondaries. Who are they going against?
Yeah.
Drew Brees, does he like to play, throw to his tight ends a lot?
Mhm.
Should be picking up Ben Watson. That's when I start streaming, if you will, right? Kind of like week in, week out, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's right. I don't know if it's wrong. I mean, I guess it is right because I am the champion, the
Ooh.
current champion, right? Just a little
Can't say much
tip
on
out
that.
there. But that's actually I think that's the kind of the strategy I went with last year too. I remember I went RB heavy, but last year I was having a lot of injury issues.
Mhm.
So
I think there were a lot of injuries in general last year.
yeah, last year was pretty crazy in that sense. Not a fun fantasy year.
Yeah.
This year is a lot of fun. You look at the waiver wires and you're like, wow, I can actually pick people up.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Yeah.
I think what's happening nowadays is people are picking up, running back handcuffs, right?
Uh-huh.
So
yeah,
David, you picked up James Conner in the draft,
yep.
and he knew Le'Veon was gonna. At that point, no one knew Le'Veon was gonna hold out like that, right? So he handcuffed James Conner before. Like it's a smart idea. I get that because
He picked Le'Veon Bell before.
Of course,
Conner.
yeah.
Right, okay.
But the fact of the matter is that he picked up James Conner in a draft. And so then you think about the league at that point, and you're kind of looking at other handcuffs, right? You're looking at the top 4 at least, right? You're looking at who is it? David Johnson's backup would be Chase Edmonds.
Uh-huh.
You're looking at the handcuffs at that point, and I think that's how the league is being handed down every year to a certain point where people are just putting them on their bench, just holding off until they're waiting for people to get injured, and then they can put them in.
Right,
So you
and,
don't have
and
to
that's
put in a waiver for it, right?
That's actually a viable strategy.
Oh,
right?
definitely. But then you're also wasting a bench spot in terms of like analysis wise. A lot of the bigger, like the ESPN people that draft, the analysts that draft, they don't really do that, right? They don't have 2 quarterbacks. They don't have 2 tight ends. They don't have 2 defenses. It's like the strategies like that. They like to get more bang for their buck instead of holding out for something to possibly happen.
I feel like these analysts and strategists, right?
Yeah.
The Matt Berries and whatnot. I think it's their job to create content for fantasy stuff, so they're always talking about who's better, who's asleep, or who
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
if that was my job, I would have to have a lot of opinions, right? I think what you're talking about now is a little bit more strategy as opposed to, is that the right way? Because
I'm definitely saying that's a strategy that people are taking nowadays.
right.
So
I mean,
I'm not saying
because running backs are prone for injury,
Yeah.
right? You see a lot of people trying to go with like a double workhorse, like split workhorse, because they want to preserve the health of their
Yeah.
running backs, right? So it makes it harder, but running backs are always, like I said, in fantasy, they're just going to give you points. You know what I mean? They're just always going to give you points, unless you got, Matt Stafford 5 years ago or something, where they just always do it, right? Running back heavy, you're looking pretty light.
Yeah.
You're looking pretty light. I tried helping, man. I really
It's
did.
okay though.
But
it's gonna pan out.
I have this feeling this year that these trades are getting a little more serious.
They are.
Right. So maybe last year I would have been like, okay, you know what? I might send him this and then risk it. And if
Yeah.
it doesn't work out, then it was fun. Oh well, there goes my season. Okay, no big deal. But now everyone's like super serious about these trades.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, no, I'm not gonna risk it.
Yeah. I think trading is just fun. People are just getting into it now. I used to be. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't trade. I was more of a
waiver wire
draft
guy.
whore. Yeah.
Oh,
And a waiver wire type
Uh-huh.
of guy, right? I would make like probably 30 moves in a season
yes. Okay.
because I thought that was the right thing to do. But
Uh-huh.
and
It is. I mean, well.
but the thing is, I think to make your team better, you just kind of have to help other people to help yourself,
Man,
right?
that's why.
That's why that Cooper Cup
going-
would have helped you.
This week, maybe this week, but
Yeah,
like think about it. If we made that trade,
Yeah.
right? I'm sitting here thinking like, I got a great
And I'm
great
sitting here
trade,
like, damn.
right? And depending on who you got, who'd you ask for, Ajayi or Collins? Even you asked for Collins, I think.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, right. You would have been like, oh yeah, I got production out of every
Mhm.
week, but next week I'm gonna be like, damn, Cooper Kupp gave me 2 points. And the next week I'll be like, oh damn, he gave me like 5 points. I guess that's okay. And then next week he'll be giving me like 20 points. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just how receivers play out. I feel like,
Yeah.
except for Gita's receivers. His receivers are very solid.
I think he has Devontae Adams, right?
Let's look at.
That's the thing. You're looking at receivers who have quarterbacks that are going to throw all day, right?
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. That's why. Yeah.
And I remember Paul Young saying Cheetah is probably, one of the guys to look out for in the league this year.
He definitely did well last game. The Golden Tate Warriors. Here
Yes,
we go.
sir.
His receivers consist of Keenan Allen, Golden Tate, Sammy Watkins, Michael Crabtree,
Maybe he
Alshon
doesn't have
Jeffrey,
Devontae. Okay.
Devontae Freeman is running back, Jamison Crowder, Jordy Nelson. He played with Jordy.
So, yeah, I mean, he has a strong wide receiver set.
Yes, his running backs are a little bit Alvin Kamara, Isaiah Crowell.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
But
definitely a solid
even
team.
Sammy Watkins, did well last week.
Yeah.
What did he do the 2 weeks? I mean, you got Tyreek Hill, you got Kareem Hunt, you got so many weapons on that team,
You do.
right?
But, I mean, with Mahomes blowing up, throwing, I mean, you kind of want players that are receivers on that Chiefs team.
Would you give up Sammy Watkins for Alex Collins? I think that was the trade that
He sent you?
I think
He was going to give Sammy Watkins for Alex Collins.
it was like Sammy Watkins, Isaiah Crowell for Saquon. That was for Saquon.
Oh, I would not have done that.
Yeah. See,
Well, I agree with that one.
and especially your number one pick, it's hard to just
I mean, he's not even offering you Keenan Allen, right?
Yeah, but even Keenan Allen, right? Do you
Yeah, no, that's
Saquon?
I mean,
like Saquon? I think he offered Saquon.
if it
for
was
Keenan
1 for 1, I
Allen
wouldn't have. No.
and Jesse James because he knows I need a tight end. right?
Oh, so he gave you 2 for 1. Okay.
Yeah, but even
Yeah.
then, Saquon Barkley, again, just running back. I just value my running backs.
I just value Saquon right now. I think people in the league are, starting to see what they can do because we all know Eli can't do anything.
Oh my God, he cannot do
So,
anything.
The Giants' offense is relying on Saquon to run all day, right? So.
Yes. And then next year,
I don't know. I mean, I think that's just a no trade zone type of guy right there, right? You don't for any player.
He is. He was like Todd Gurley last year, where I was
Exactly.
like, I
You
wouldn't
just
even
can't-
touch
yeah.
him until things get
Yeah.
like really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone started dying. Everyone started getting injured, and I was like, I need to do something. And I tried to put him on the trading block, but people wouldn't take it. Thank God. But another interesting thing is what we talked about with Paul. What I talked about with Paul last week was if we switched over to this dynasty mode, right?
Mhm.
And I did a little bit more research, and dynasty mode can be done with you can set the number of players that you want to keep. So it can be your entire team, right? And this will make trading a little bit more interesting, especially, and I haven't looked that much into it, but especially if you can do things like trade away picks and draft picks and things like that.
I definitely think
be?
I think definitely think it's more of a creative league to play dynasty.
Yeah.
But I have had friends. Pascal was actually in a dynasty league. He told me about it. They disbanded actually.
Why?
Because his team actually got too lethal.
His team.
So everybody else kind of voted against it. They didn't want to do that at that point. They didn't want to do dynasty. So they stopped playing that, and they just reverted back to, snake draft every year or bids auction. So the thing is, you can keep 2 players every year, send it off, do it again. But again, what if those 2 players are
What I want to do is I want to be able to trade draft picks. You know what I mean?
that would be insane.
That would be crazy, right? I mean, even with Dynasty, you might not even be able to trade away draft picks, right? Especially if you're drafting, if you're only keeping like 2 or 3 players, right? Because what do I do? How does Yahoo set that up?
Yeah.
It's like give me.
Yahoo wouldn't set it up. That's the thing. You would just have to coordinate with that person.
Man, that would be crazy if you could do that. God, I sound very nerdy having all these like ideas for the
No,
for this
I think
league,
it's
right?
creative. I think it's fun.
But I've always wanted to do a live draft with a board. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just so much more fun than just us looking at our computers, like reading notes.
Yeah.
It's just.
I mean, who's the
a little more
furthest one?
engaging. Huh?
Is JB Young the only person that's far away? Other than
We
him,
would have to like Skype him in or
Yeah.
something.
Which
I
I
guess
mean,
so,
JB Young is pretty fast with it.
I think he is pretty
So.
fast. Yeah. I mean, I guess there's just that convenience factor
Yeah.
of it.
No, I think live would be fun though.
It would.
I just want to see people's faces when they make bad decisions. I think that's the fun of it. Again, that's my
Well,
personality.
so okay, so what do you mean by live? You mean like with
Live.
like,
I mean,
like
like
having
on
an
a
actual
bulletin
live board, right?
Yeah,
Right?
like the show The League.
right?
They
Well,
used
so I
to-
haven't seen the league, so
actually a great show.
I should.
it's one of the
I should
funniest
watch
shows.
it. I have a lot of shows I need to
Yeah.
catch up on because.
Supposedly it's 50% improv. The show.
Oh
It's,
really?
yeah.
Oh, those are really good then.
Yeah.
Usually.
Well, you
Um,
can't tell though because it's again it seems scripted, but it's not.
Well, the cast is usually really good if they're
Yeah.
just
Mhm.
coming up with these things.
Stand up people, yeah.
Right.
But definitely good show to look into.
Continuing with these idea
Mm-hmm.
talk, right? The idea that I sent at our group chat,
Yeah,
right?
the 2 people on a team, and then
Well, that idea came with when I was I don't know, just going through our teams, whatever, and I was like, hey, we should have like a Lee's versus like a Kim kind of situation,
Yeah.
right? But like I said, I mean, when I said it before air, we just have a lot of different last names. We got Hongs, we got Huangs, we got Songs, we got Kims.
too many to count.
Yeah. So it wouldn't work, but if we could find something where we could split these teams up, right?
Mhm.
And then the idea would be that, let's say it's like you, me, David, and Croissant, right?
Mhm.
And we'll, as the league, be like, okay, you have up until Thursday to submit your lineup,
Yeah.
right? And we'll set what, like a standard.
Mhm.
Each player picks one receiver. Each player picks one quarterback from the entire team. 2 running backs, right? And then you guys discuss amongst your team. So it'd be you, me, David, and Paul, right?
Yeah.
And be like, okay, like who's your quarterback? Like blah blah. Who are they playing? A little bit more of a collective kind of thing, right?
No, for sure. Yeah.
And then it would require manual point tracking, right? Because we would write it all down. But at the end, after Monday night, we would tally it all up and be like, oh, red team wins,
Mm-hmm.
blue team loses. Here's your punishment, right? And that could be so many different things,
Yeah.
now, right?
I think that's like a
That should be a
spin-off Impractical Jokers kind of,
oh man,
right?
I love Impractical
which
Jokers.
I know you love the show.
I love that
Um,
show. We should actually just have a segment just discussing like punishments. You know what I mean?
No, I think it would be great. But yeah, I think my take on it is, it's laborsome. I think people in the league are getting a little lazy sometimes, whether it's setting up your lineups or,
Really,
just things in general. But
who's being lazy about setting up the lineup? Juan with Josh Gordon.
well, no, not as much. I think it was you had an injured kicker and waited till like Thursday night to change him out.
Right, because I don't want to waste a waiver.
No, I
spot
agree,
on
but
a
the waivers
kicker,
stop
right?
on Wednesday.
Right, so I just was like, okay, well,
Sure. No, I mean,
this
I'm
is,
not saying I'm not calling you out
Uh-huh.
right now. What I'm saying is, I feel like it's active enough to a point where if people did anything extra, they wouldn't. So
But-
in that sense, people wouldn't want to discuss amongst their team and
right,
all that.
but that's why you got to make it interesting, right? That's why we got to have a punishment
Yeah.
that's fun, right? That's why that's that's
But what punishment can be a collective punishment? I think that's even harder to come up with than it is to come up with a lineup.
we could put our creative caps on.
Yeah.
They could.
I mean, I think if everybody agrees to it, yeah, I think it'd be a fun ordeal. But at this moment right now, how I envision it happening is, because I actually tried to do this with my friend. Well, my friend,
really?
yeah. So it's something very similar. So it was a one-on-one kind of thing. We were already playing in fantasy,
Okay.
and I said, hey, how about we do a $50 bet,
Okay.
right? And we say, all right, you can pick any player. Doesn't matter. Like DraftKings gives you a cap or salary cap. We said pick any player. And then for each position,
Okay.
and then you manually count it up, like you said,
Okay.
at the end, and you send it through email at the same time, right? And then, whoever scores more would win the money. So
Okay.
it's similar to that, but the thing is, it becomes
of
kind of
Yeah.
counting up the points, whether it's
Right.
that or like coming up with standard on like what you can go into fantasy football and just look up how many points they scored, and I guess go back into the email and just put in how many points they scored. But
We could probably even make just Google Sheets,
we could yeah
right?
Yeah.
I mean, I mean that wouldn't be too hard. It would require a little extra work because there's nothing in the website that allows us to do it. But I'm just saying it could be fun. It could be fun.
Yeah.
I hope, my hopes is that this podcast starts picking up a little bit.
Mhm.
People are starting to get a little bit more excited for the next episode, and then start getting a little bit creative with what. And I think I even talked about this in the last episode. Get a little bit more creative about what we could do with this, right? Punishments and things like that.
Yeah.
And then once we start getting some of these like really good ideas, then we can really start putting side bets to work. Just putting creative, crazy ideas like this where, maybe it's not just a single punishment.
Mhm.
It's not like, oh, Hooney, you lost
Yeah.
lost a side bet to me here. Now you have to come in here with a Redskins jersey and do this podcast. No, I mean, we've seen that. It's been played
Yeah.
out. Let's
It's
see
like naming someone's next child
David, and no, I can't. I mean, if you were that serious, okay, but
Well, I mean, take it to the next step, right? But yeah, no, I definitely agree. Like, I think it's got to be something more.
right, if I saw you, who's the Eagles fans here? David, you,
Joel. Or here?
Yeah,
I think
just
that's
you and
it.
David?
Yeah.
yeah, like if you and David had to do something together, that would be hilarious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Something embarrassing. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's suggestions, and for everyone that's listening, just let us know. Let us know in the let me know in the group chat.
In the comment section below.
Yeah, and I will try to make it happen. At least the technical aspects of it, or whatever, right? Yeah. Let's see. What else do we want to talk about with fantasy? Your team. What about the league? Who are you surprised with? Who are you disappointed with? Who are you?
Well, I think Mr. Flatline himself, David Jang.
Oh,
I think he had a good team to begin with. A lot of people bashed him in the beginning, mainly James Young, which I don't blame. I think he was a little off put by his team, a little scared to lose to him.
Well, James is just
a
gonna
friendly rivalry between them.
Well, James is just gonna shit talk.
Of course,
everyone.
And he's gonna pick on the youngest guy, right?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I definitely like David's team. I think it's one that can blow up.
Okay.
So again, I think he's a playoff contender.
Mm-hmm.
You always have motherfucking Hongsta, which he talked about the draft pick, the number 1 pick.
Yes.
And I verified that, which is he was right.
Just twice.
Yeah, it's just twice. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
but twice where it mattered, right? Because the number 1 pick this year was Todd Gurley.
Uh-huh.
And that's probably one of the most crucial picks you could have. Because if you're second, you have, Le'Veon Bell? And you're screwed at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I had number 6, and
Yeah.
I was looking at Saquon with I forgot who else it was, but
Probably Kamara or something like that.
no, I think Kamara went earlier. Because I think I probably would have taken Kamara instead of. Wait, what pick were you this year?
I was number 10.
Okay, you probably picked up Kamara, right?
No, I picked up DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh, who has Kamara?
I'm about to.
I think that's Gita actually. He might have been the 10th pick. Maybe he got.
He was 7th pick.
7th pick.
And he got Kamara.
Oh, so he got it right below me.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you were
interesting.
6th, right?
I was 6th.
So yeah, he went after. But again, I don't think you could really see Kamara doing that well, right? Not many people can see that coming.
Okay. No, my thought process was that they're that workload. That I didn't know if it was gonna be Kamara or Ingram. I thought that one of them were gonna have a good season, not the same season they had last year, but definitely not both of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was just like, Saquon.
One of those things. Yeah,
You know.
Saquon's going to be the workhorse for sure.
Yeah, and also it's just like all that hype, It's like
I mean, preseason. Yeah, it was amazing.
I remember the year Ezekiel got drafted, and I was like, he's a rookie. I'm gonna stay away from him. And then I was like, oh gosh. And then last year you picked him up, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna have that same year.
Trust Zeke. Yep.
I even Saquon Barkley. I think if I had to pick him up, we'll see what he does this year. But I don't know with running backs. I don't believe in that sophomore hump slump. I think is pretty real with running backs.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with him next year.
I mean, if you run that hard, you run for 2,000 yards in the season, whatever it is, right? That's a lot of toll on your body, man. That's a lot of mileage you're putting.
But Le'Veon Bell's doing it, right?
I think that's
him in the league.
I think that's why Le'Veon Bell is sitting out, isn't he?
Yeah.
He wants to save those mileages for another team that so he can get paid.
Agree. He's holding out on that.
So, cool. What about? Let's look at some of the rivalry. Oh, what about your picks? Let's talk about your picks actually. How did you do with your picks?
I believe I was either 3 for 3 or less.
Let's see. Who was versus motherfucking Hongsters?
I said motherfucking Hongsters.
You did, and you were right about that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pull up the results actually here too.
The next one it was hashtag blessed. Chongo versus Gigabamas. JB, yeah.
And
I said it was hashtag blessed.
Yeah.
Again, I mean,
is that surprising to you?
it is surprising, right? Because, let me look at it.
So
Let me look at that matchup.
I can look up that matchup here for you if you want. It's right here. Um,
So let's take a look at that really quickly.
oh, and this is this week's.
And a lot of people who don't want to tune in on this,
Uh-huh.
I can understand. But again, to me, losing the motherfucking Hongster picks or the picks per week, it means a lot. Like I actually want to try to predict it correctly, like 100%, because I feel like it's never been done, right? But
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's never been done.
Yeah.
I we would have to check in.
So I mean, going down the list, we're looking at people who underperformed, right? We're not really looking at the people who blow up as much, because I think Chung is the type of player who has very consistent players every week, and I think that's why he drafts the players he does. Like he drafted Adrian. I'm pretty sure he drafted Adrian Peterson pretty early.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
And for some reason, I respected him for doing that, even though I'm an Eagles fan. And the reason I say this is because he's gonna pick who he wants to pick, right? And that's why he's been successful in the past. But let me look at this really quickly. So so Corey Davis underperformed.
Mm-hmm.
You have Kenyon Drake that underperformed.
AP, who overperformed, 24 points.
I mean, I guess in a sense it kind of balances itself out, but with like the Kenyon Drake situation, with Tannehill doing well, things are just gonna happen. And again, JB Hung's team, it's not like his team blew up, right? It's everybody played a consistent amount, except for Will Fuller. I think everyone met their projections.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't far off his projections. Right?
Rob Gronkowski underperformed.
It was more so that Chungo's team didn't perform to.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Tyreek Hill projected 17 points. He only got 7.
Yeah.
Right. Antonio Brown projected 20. He only got 15. Right. Corey Davis projected 9 points. He got 5. Like Kenyon Drake 15 points. He got 3. That's what it is. That's what
again, I mean.
So let's not. I mean, let's look at his matchup for this week. Right. Chong, I'm talking about.
Yeah. Because
I'm sure it's gonna be. He's probably gonna be. Oh, against GTA. Oh, this is gonna be good.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at the projection. 133 to 137. Oh wow, that's gonna be good.
And especially with wide receivers, like you said earlier, it's gonna be definitely with the matchups of the defenses that play.
Nope.
So you see AB playing against Baltimore.
Yeah, and
which I mean, again, one of those rivalry games. They're big. I mean, like the way they play,
it's different. It's unpredictable.
Yeah, exactly.
It's unpredictable.
It's
I mean, you start playing for, people who you didn't think could do things, or they're doing it. You know what I mean? That's why people like primetime games. That's why people like these rivalry great games, right?
Yeah.
The unexpected happens, right? Yeah. And when it happens, it's great for the sport, for business, not for fantasy players. Fuck. Cool. Let's any other matchups that you think are interesting?
This week, I like the number 1 playing the number 2.
Number 1 playing number 2,
the motherfucking Honks versus Epic James time.
Right.
So I think that's a primetime matchup. We definitely want to see somebody, lose that.
Man, they need to do a side bet for this.
I agree.
Wow, look at.
So
wow.
If you guys are tuning in now, the game's live. So we're looking at the motherfucking Honks, the scores for the Rams and Vikings.
It's a very high scoring game. It's it looks like it's halftime, 20-28. With the Rams up, and man, Paul is just lighting up the points here.
Yeah.
Wow, it's not looking good for James at all. And Matt Ryan's gonna put up points.
I don't think as he did last week.
No, not like last week.
50 points. But that's Matt Ryan for you, right? You pick up Matt Ryan knowing he's not gonna put up consistent.
You know what? But to be honest, though, after the ones that are playing now, Everyone else could just have mediocre days. You know what
I
I mean?
agree.
Like, his
Jordan Howard isn't gonna do much. On that
yeah,
offense
I don't know
right
if he'll
now.
hit 15 projected
I
points.
don't think so either.
The three that are playing right now are probably his three solid players,
Agree.
like three best. So
and
it should be
maybe
interesting.
Kenny Stills, but he's questionable as well.
Right.
There's just so many targets there.
I'm still
Devontae
not
Parker
sold on Dolphins.
back. The Dolphins.
I'm still not sold.
I'm actually sold on them right now. The reason I say that is because Tannehill. What I learned was Tannehill was actually not even a quarterback in college.
okay, but that happens.
But what happens with that is he's growing as a quarterback, and every year he's getting better. And that's why the whole thing about that was, I listened to this analyst Brett Coleman,
Okay.
and he talks about it
Okay.
and how he was a wide receiver in college. He played senior year. He played quarterback, and he's just an unexpected talent that you don't see much, right? Not many people can do what he does right now. The quarterbacks in the league are quarterbacks from high school on. He did it from senior year of college and then entered the NFL. I think that's unbelievable. And so with that said, he's been in the league what, 4 years, 5 years, maybe.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, and he's gaining targets. He's getting relationships with these. He's understanding playbooks, reading defenses. So I think it's a lot to learn for especially somebody that's coming out.
So, but you're saying that because he still has a lot to learn, that he has more potential, more growth, right?
For sure, yeah.
But you could also say that it's detrimental in that sense, right? It's that it's too much to learn, right?
Yeah.
That he doesn't have enough experience like he did as to his counterparts,
I
right?
definitely agree with that.
But I think that might be a small thing. Like I would hope Tannehill, being a professional,
Mhm.
whether you be a quarterback, whatever position you are, you're gonna put the work in to succeed, right? And I feel like these guys are athletes. I mean, you see people who play basketball, never played football in their life,
Mhm.
and they'll be like, okay, I'm going to join the draft and do well. I think, I don't know.
Nate Robinson tried.
Did he what?
He tried to join the NFL draft.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The small Nate
Yeah.
Robinson? Wow. That'd be funny. As a running back? Maybe a slot receiver? But that happens, and you know that they're athletes, and because they're athletes,
Yeah, but I think understanding the idea of the quarterback position, it just puts more than athleticism, right? You got to be smart. You got to be you have to have experience. And I think that's what it takes to be a great quarterback, right? That's why Aaron Rodgers is who he is. He played under Brett Favre for how many years, right?
yeah.
You just have to learn the game. And it takes years and years of learning that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Tannehill doesn't have as many years, whether he's an athlete or not.
All right, so let's look back at the Dolphins, right? They are 3-0 with the wins against the Titans, Jets, and Raiders,
Mhm.
right?
Which I think are all very good contending teams.
What? No. The Raiders?
Mm.
The Raiders, the Jets, I'm still not
I
sold
mean,
on
the Raiders
Jets.
defense, yeah, I can
right?
see that, but yeah.
They have
I'm sold on the Jets,
Patriots,
too.
they got Bengals, and they got Bears, and they got Lions coming up. The next four weeks will tell how legit Miami is. I'm not sold on them yet. I am not sold on them just yet. So Kenny Stills, maybe.
But I mean, taking a look at James Young's team.
Yeah.
Again, I think each player is going to underperform for him as well, right? Because he has a couple consistents, but all I can look at here is Aaron Rodgers and Zach Ertz, right? And then everybody else, you kind of very questionable, like Allen
AJ Green?
Robinson with Mitchell Trubisky.
You don't think AJ Green?
No, AJ Green's good, but
Yeah.
again, I hate
I would
Andy
actually I would say AJ Green and Ertz are probably more solid because don't forget Aaron Rodgers still has got that knee.
He does,
It's-
but he also brought them back and won that game.
right,
against
but and then last year he didn't do that well, right? Did they win? They lost. They lost to Redskins
After the knee injury.
after the knee. Yeah,
I mean,
um,
it's not. I mean, it's not dependent on him as much as. I mean, I guess there's other factors, but
I just it's like you said with the running back when I before I tore my ACL, right, that morning or maybe the weeks leading to it, every morning I would wake up and my knee would kind of hurt. That same knee, right? It's weird,
Which
pain,
makes sense.
right? Before I tore the
okay.
right? So before I tore it, right? So to me that meant something's going on with my knee. I just ignored it, right? And then I tore it. So especially like you said with the running backs, you're very cautious about people with the knee.
Yeah.
The way I see it with Aaron Rodgers is if he should sit out, get back to healthy. If he thinks that their team can make it to the playoffs and then they can make that push, right?
I don't think they can, but
I don't think that. I think if he continues to play, it's only a matter of time before he actually hurts his knee, and that's not good, right?
I definitely agree with that. But
you just paid the man so much money. How the heck would you want to have him play on?
Because you paid him that much.
I guess you could think of it that way.
But yeah, I mean, a quick glance at James Jones' team, I think this is an easy win for Paul Hall.
Yeah. So far right now, right?
Yeah.
Tam Hooney, you got 40 points just from, what is it, Cooper Cup only?
I believe it's Cooper Cup and Adam Thielen, and then my defense. But the defense doesn't look to be doing much because it's a high-scoring game.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame. Again, I mean, this matchup was tough to begin with because of the running back situation.
Sure.
But
I apologize. I mean, Tavon Austin.
Oh.
All right.
I mean, it happens. Like, you got to go on the waiver wire and
Tavon Austin was your best running back that you could find?
Yeah.
Man. Someone help this man out. He needs some running backs. If you guys need some. But the thing is, like, what do you have to offer, though?
Well, I mean, the thing that's the problem because the players that I needed this week played on Thursday.
Yeah.
So when I looked for trades, I needed people to respond as soon as possible.
Yeah,
so it didn't happen. But again, for everybody that I offered a trade to, and Cooper Cup was in that sale, I have no regrets. That's with a capital A.
Once you have McCaffrey back, you'll be.
I'll be rolling again. Yeah.
Yeah, it's this bye
just
to
a matter of
McCaffrey
time.
that's kind of hurting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's any other matchups you want to talk about? You want to talk about my matchup against one and only? I'll probably wait. Oh wow, he's projected to do actually really well.
See, this is the crazy thing to me because every year, Juan Hill, I've only seen him on the bottom. No offense, Juan Hill. Actually, that's a lot of offense. But
Yeah.
whenever I do my picks, it's always Juan Hill, losing. But again, like his team isn't a bad team. He has two of the best wide receivers in the game, right? He has OBJ and Michael Thomas.
I don't know about the past two picks, but I think I've always been picked against, right?
Yeah, I picked against you as well.
And to be honest, all the projections week by week, I have said that. I think how they give you that Yahoo week recap.
Mm-hmm.
I think for like definitely two of the 3 weeks it said you've outperformed your projection points. You know what I mean?
And that's fantasy for you, right? Because you never know the matchup.
That is, but the way my thought process was that it's like this has to be by some sort of algorithm, right? So each player must have some sort of value as they stand today, right? But Tom Brady before he became a starter, right? His value was none. Once these young players get that spotlight and they get that chance to kind of blow up, right? Yeah. Then they become like the trending players, right? The sleeper picks, right? That's what I'm going for, right? That's what I'm trying to go for. That's why all my things, Chris Godwin, man.
Yeah,
that was he's been giving me a lot of good picks.
Yeah,
a lot.
But how long is that gonna last, right?
I don't know. He's given me pretty good point every week so far, even with the whole Ryan
Fitzpatrick,
Fitzmagic kind of fizzling out, right?
Well, he's not fizzling out yet, right? Because that's 3 consecutive games at 400 yards.
Well, yeah, but
he did throw a pick six, but it's. Again,
3 picks in a row. That was bad.
Yeah, but one of them I don't blame him.
Well, but Ryan Fitzpatrick always does this.
Yeah, even with the Jets,
he's like, man, he's like a batter. He just goes through these slumps.
He was breaking records at this point, right? He was behind Patrick Mahomes, who's who's killing it.
I don't know if he broke records. Patrick Mahomes for breaking records.
Yeah. No,
right?
well, he broke. Well, I'm pretty sure Fitzpatrick is breaking records for
like
throwing
Tampa Bay.
yards in games,
Maybe.
consecutive games.
Maybe, but
Well, again, who's coming up with these statistics, right? Who really cares if he's throwing 3 consecutive 400-yard passing?
well, Juan doesn't he have Fitzpatrick? Who has Fitzpatrick? Well, whoever has Fitzpatrick would care.
Yeah.
Right.
Someone used a waiver on him.
On a waiver.
Yeah. That's the thing.
What do you
That's
think
the way
about Jameis Winston and Fitz?
I think
What do
you
think?
have to go with Fitzmagic. He already
Even
has the
after-
chemistry. Yeah, no, definitely, because he's what? On fire, right? That's like saying, all right, Stephen Curry comes in the game. He's on fire. You put him out, you pull him out to put in, somebody that you not sure if he's going to perform at the same standard. It's a different play style too, right? Fitzpatrick is more of a pocket passer. You have Jameis Winston who can scramble like Cam.
So, first to your
different
first
offense.
point with Stephon Curry, it's a little different with basketball, right? I think.
Oh yeah, I mean,
because
it's week to week, and this is
right.
in
And
one
basketball,
single game. I agree.
You sit people, and you can
Yeah.
kind of manage their playtime, right? But I don't think it's as simple as what even Deshaun Jackson said. That he said, just go with the hot hand. You have to go with the hot hand. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, I get that, but and that maybe I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but is Ryan Fitzpatrick going to be your franchise quarterback?
I think that's what you got to do though.
He's
I
gonna
don't
be
know
a
about
fifth-
franchise
There's no way he's
quarterback.
gonna be your franchise. No,
I don't-
You have
yeah,
Jameis
I don't
Winston.
agree with the franchise quarterback.
You spent the number one overall. Was he number one overall? No, he wasn't.
I don't
number
think
one
so.
overall. But first round, whatever
Yeah.
draft pick on him, right? You built your offense around this guy, right?
Mhm.
You did, and you can't say you didn't, right?
Yeah.
And then now you're gonna completely like that. That's like.
All right. Here's my
That's
my
like
question to you right quick.
here we have plan A with the podcast, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna do this league podcast, right?
Yeah.
Plan A, and all of a sudden, one of our cable isn't working, so we're gonna be like, all right, fuck it, we're just gonna go get a digital you completely go in a different direction because of one thing, and I feel like people might overreact to it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Let me give you a similar situation then.
Okay.
Okay, something that relates to you a little bit more. So you have Lamar Jackson on the Ravens,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Um,
It's not a similar situation, by the way.
well, again, it's not going to be the exact same, but it's going to be somewhat similar.
Well-
I'm giving you a scenario for you, right?
Right.
So I'm
But
going to make it into a situation that makes it similar.
Okay, but I think I know where you're going, and I don't think it's gonna be similar. But good, continue.
Okay. Then you have Joe Flacco.
Right.
Sometimes they play that 1A, 1B, right? Quarterback situation
Okay.
where they play the. We'll get into that later, but so you start the season and you have Lamar Jackson on fire, right? This is a hypothetical.
Okay.
Obviously, because he's not playing right now. So
Uh,
he's on fire, and Joe Flacco is serving a suspension.
okay.
Okay. And then so you have Lamar Jackson playing 3 games, and he does the exact same as Fitzpatrick did, right? And then all of a sudden, Joe Flacco is ready to play after his 3-game suspension for whatever white people do for crime, which I don't know, shoplift, I don't know, but he does whatever he
Rape,
does, right?
maybe.
I guess, right? So that happens, right? And then so what do you do at that point as a coach,
So I think the situation,
Mr. Harbaugh?
that scenario that you just painted out for me, was very similar to.
It's the exact same situation, but I just put it in the Ravens place.
No, it's not. Not at all. That was.
Well, if you put it the other perspective, then you would have to just do Joe Flacco
no.
on fire, and
The
then
scenario
Lamar
that you just painted out was more like the Cowboys situation with Dak and Tony Romo, right? You have a veteran franchise quarterback, right?
Isn't Joe Flacco a franchise quarterback?
Yes, absolutely, right? But you draft a quarterback to be the next quarterback, your heir to that. The
You're
successor.
saying my situation
Right.
is similar to
Right.
Dallas Cowboys?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, Tony Romo. It wasn't a suspension. I think it was some sort of injury, right? But because he was on injury reserve with that title to come back, Dak Prescott kills it with Zeke, right? And then when he comes back, it's like, okay, now what do we do?
Yeah.
And I think at that situation, you say, oh, no, you got to go with Dak, right? This guy is going to be our next franchise quarterback we have to stick with him as being the hot hand, right? The situation with Tampa Bay, Ryan Fitzpatrick was not their franchise quarterback. It's not. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Jameis Winston is that position. You see what I'm saying? Now you got a journeyman, temporary backup guy that's supposed to be your filling guy for your franchise quarterback, blowing up, right? So it's a very different situation because what that organization decides to do, or at least as far as who they're committing to, make Fitzpatrick, and I just don't see that happening. I think they've invested too much into Jameis Winston that maybe they might go, all right, Jameis, have another week off. But I just can't see.
Well, I don't think it's going to happen every week, right? I don't think, but I also think Fitzpatrick's not going to throw like he does every week.
He's going to fizzle out.
Yeah.
And then eventually Jameis.
Well, they might do what the Ravens are doing right now. They might have Jameis come in for a couple of snaps, right? And run not even a wildcat, but some type of offense.
But that's what I'm saying. You're like, the only reason we're doing that with Lamar Jackson right now is because Joe Flacco is still a franchise quarterback. You see what I'm saying?
I get that, but what I'm posing in this situation is Fitzpatrick will still be the starting quarterback of the game, even though Jameis Winston's off suspension. If I'm the coach, I'm putting Fitzpatrick in, but I'm fizzling in.
Okay, but what,
Jameis Winston in a couple of snaps.
Oh, so you mean
so that you can kind of see, Jameis get back into the rhythm with his team, and that's how as a coach, that's how I would do it.
That's true, and also
look, you're not going to sit your franchise quarterback like you've been saying, right?
Well, also keep in mind, and we can always talk about these hypotheticals or discuss these, right? But they also see them in practice, and that makes a huge. That plays a huge part.
Yeah.
I think. But as far as us making that decision, I don't know.
Well, of course, that's why it's an opinion. That's how I would play that style. Which I always find it funny when people. No, I'm not calling you out on this, but I'm saying it's always interesting to me whenever I ask people's opinion, or I'll say something to them and I'll say, hey, like Antonio Brown sucks, right? He's gonna get the Madden curse.
Okay.
And then he'll say, oh, like what, like he's a beast every year, Tony toe tap. And then I'll say, I don't think he's going to do well. And he'll say, we'll see, right? Like in fantasy football, it's the we'll see that quotes in quotes. I feel like you could say that about anything, but that's why I'm asking for your opinion on something, right? So you can't really say, yeah, we'll see, because I'm asking you how he's going to do in your opinion.
Well,
that's why I feel like that.
When I say we'll see, I think that's kind of my way of saying I'm not sure. It can go either way. Yeah.
Which
I really have no expectation. Yeah.
But I think
that's fantasy in general.
Yeah.
Right? You just sometimes it's just so hard to predict.
It's just one of those things that I hate hearing sometimes when I want to hear someone's opinion. It's just the we'll see just always kills it for me.
Well, I told you my opinion. I think we go with Jameis Winston. You just have to. You just have to. He's the younger. He's the franchise quarterback. Thank you, Ryan Fitzpatrick, for the fun, for the media attention. Great, but we've got Jameis back. Go back and sit on the bench, or if you really can, maybe I don't know, shop him to 49ers or something. Who knows? Yeah. You know what I mean? Get value back from him, but I don't think you make him your franchise or change your organization's model because of this.
Yeah.
Right? So, all right. So I think it's getting pretty late. So it's running pretty long. I think. So let's. You want to just do a quick segment of Topher Talks? Topher Talks. I've got some ideas for the sound bar. I'm thinking Barry White.
Okay.
Nice sultry voice.
Smooth jazz.
Yeah. So this was suggested by JB. Just a quick chat with the guest for the episode. Yes, maybe not football related. It can be something deep. It can be serious. It can be lighthearted. It can be whatever.
Just yeah. So I got probably two things.
Okay.
one related to football but not fantasy.
Okay.
So who do you think is going to be in the Super Bowl this year? And we're going to mark this week 3. Topher calls it because you guessed
This year.
right. That's pretty respectable, right?
This year. Man, it has to be a Super Bowl. It has to be 2 teams. Can I
Yeah.
say like
You could say the teams that make it.
4 teams? I think Chicago is going to be up there. I think if I had to guess on the NFC, I would say LA Rams
Okay.
to the NFC, and then on the AFC, AFC is very interesting right
It
now.
is. It really is.
Chiefs, will they fizzle out?
Topher talks.
I don't want to go with the Chiefs. I want to go with. You know what? I'm gonna go on out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say Jacksonville.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Jacksonville.
I think those are very respectable.
Yeah, I'm gonna say LA Rams and Jacksonville. I think we're gonna finally have a non-Patriot freaking Super
Jalen Ramsey
Bowl.
gets his payback.
Oh
in
my
the
god,
AFC
that'd
Championship.
be great. That'd be
Alright.
great.
And then the other one. Is
Wait.
not-
What about you? Who do you think? Who do you?
Uh,
The Eagles?
I think it's gonna be the Saints in the NFC.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Even
I
with
think
that
they're-
defense?
Yeah.
Their defense.
Do you see how much they're outscoring? So okay, the other thing is really quickly the Saints with Mark Ingram back, the pace of play is gonna be different.
That's true.
They're gonna be running the ball a lot more.
Yes, they
So,
are.
Okay,
Mhm.
so
It makes me sad.
yeah,
It makes me sad.
but yeah, so I think it's gonna be the Saints, and I think it's gonna be the Jags. So I agree with you on
Jags.
the AFC.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice. You don't think the Rams are gonna make it? They're looking good, man.
No, they are looking good, but again, I see a lot in the Saints, and I know their defense is bad. They're giving up a lot of points. I get that, but I think they're gonna find a way through the season, right? I mean, you think their defense is gonna be this bad for the entire season? I mean, who knows, right? We'll see.
I don't know. I've always said that with offense,
Yeah.
it always takes some time because if in football, offense is always about repetition, right? Getting the patterns down. So usually in the beginning of the season, offenses look kind of sluggish. They
Mhm.
don't look in sync. It looks off, right? Defense is all about. I mean, there's packages, where to be, assignments and things like that. But a lot of defense, I think, is reaction, just athletic abilities, right? So when you see a really dominant defense from week 1, it's not because, like they're more in tune or practiced or versed in their.
Yeah.
It's because they're just a better defense. They
Yeah.
got more athletes. They got more players, right? Playmakers on defense.
But with
So-
that said, wouldn't that be a great match? Like probably one of the best Super Bowls you would ever watch. The best defense against
Right,
probably
but
the
wh-
best offense.
Right, that's what I'm. I mean, but we see that all the time in Super Bowls. Oh yeah, Super Bowls you see number 1 defenses versus number 1 offenses all the time. I can't tell you what the
Oh, that's actually pretty true. Yeah,
yeah,
Eagles, Patriots.
Oh yeah, they're
Yeah,
number
I
1
didn't even
defense,
think about
number
that,
1
yeah.
offense.
You're
Yeah, that happens all the time. Yeah, and it's usually the Patriots with the number 1. No, man.
Question.
Cool.
All right, and then the last one.
Okay.
It's not related to football.
Okay.
I would have to start by asking, how's the tour planning going?
It's going. It's going.
Sounds a little bit stressful.
It's not too. I don't know if it's
Give it a try.
stressful. It's not stressing me out too much right now.
Okay.
We're using a party company called Party Eve. Man, this is like a sponsorship. They should pay us.
Ooh,
And
please add here.
they just basically kind of take care of
Yeah.
most of everything for you.
Gotcha. So
So right now, our biggest concern or stress is like outfits.
oh
yeah.
my Jesus.
Like what do we wear?
I
What
can't even
what does
wait
Garrett? Yeah,
napkins.
you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean.
So
So kind of what I'm getting into is why do you think it's so important to have a toy? other than tradition, right? Because mainly it is tradition, right, in our culture.
Yeah.
But why do you think it's so important to do it as a second year? Wait, as a second year Korean American,
Oh, so a second generation.
second generation. I'm sorry.
Um, yeah, there's definitely the traditional aspect of it, and kind of understanding what it is, why understanding that tradition,
Yeah.
which to me I believe is supposed to kind of, I think back in the days when a baby survived till a year, it was, kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
And they celebrated in a way where they would kind of bless them with some sort of fortune, right? And that's where they picked their different items, right? But for specifically, if it's not just that cultural reason, when you become a parent, you'll understand. But it's like you just want the best for your child, right?
But then okay, I feel like that ends up being debatable. Right. Okay. So
yeah.
Okay. I mean, I guess we can discuss that on another time. But the other question would be like, why do parents talk so?
Let's do it. Let's talk now.
Okay.
Like,
all right, so
especially
the reason,
if we're just talk about it.
Yeah.
It can be open.
Yeah.
So don't
So, I'm definitely gonna do it, right? Only because it's tradition.
Right.
But I think with the segue I was trying to make into was more so. Because a lot of the youngs in the league have done it already, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Maybe even twice already now, probably. Chris Young.
Yeah, actually, everyone's done total except for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul. Yeah, but so I mean, what's the use in spending? And it's gonna come off the wrong way, right? The way I say this, it's gonna come off
so much money on an event
an event like this.
Yeah.
Due to tradition, because I think my toy, I don't remember it obviously, but there's pictures and it's in my house.
Yeah.
Right. So, coming from a wealthier background of the youngs that I know, right, the toys have been almost like crazy extravagant places, open bar to the point where it's like, it makes me question a lot of like. It's like, whoa, like why spend so much on an event like this?
Okay.
And it's personal. I get that, but
it is personal. And we're gonna go a little bit even super personal. How are things with you and Anna?
Very good.
Yeah. You guys talking marriage yet?
Yeah. I mean, a marriage it's definitely the next step, right? Like it's
like how serious are we talking? Like
no, we're gonna get married.
Okay, shopping.
No, not yet.
Like in the far future or near future, like what are we talking?
Maybe the next 2 years.
Okay.
So
So
she's still young.
Horizon, right?
She's still young, and she knows it.
Uh-huh.
I'm getting older,
right?
As I feel it.
And you start to feel the financial burdens and responsibilities.
Yeah.
So you start thinking about, man, like where does like this amount of money going to this doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Right. Welcome to weddings and welcome to ring shopping and everything. There was a reason why, and for those that are listening that don't know, I've been wanting to get into the wedding business, particularly as like maybe like an event coordinator or like as a DJ, and I've been asking Huni here to come into business with me as an MC or a DJ. Right? But the reason why I've been saying that is because there's a lot of money in weddings.
I agree.
It seems like right now you'll be like, oh, there's no way I'll spend this much money on a diamond ring, or on weddings, blah blah blah. But when the time comes, and it's feasible, like if Carol was like, oh my God, I want, a diamond crusted like dress, and I want to get married in, the most expensive, like if it's something like that, then obviously it's like, well, peace. Right? I mean,
goodbye.
If you're expecting that from me now, then this is never gonna work, right? But when it's, I guess my thought process was this: it's like, logically it never made sense, and I was always like you, where it was like, why would anyone spend this much money, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it was like, think of it as a splurge, right? To me, it's I'm throwing a party for a pretty significant event in my life, maybe the most important event in my life, right? And I'm throwing a part, like that's what a wedding is. It's a ceremony for the actual union of it.
Yeah.
The receptions, the things that they spend so much money on, DJs and things like that. It's just throwing a giant party to celebrate that, right?
Yeah.
So because it's such a big moment, and such a joyous moment, you splurge.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you were in high school and you knew your parents were out of town or something, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be the biggest party of the summer.
Yeah.
We'll throw some extra money in to get an extra keg or something.
Yeah.
You're just splurging. That's what it is, right? It's just at a grander scale. The issue arises when the vendors know that you're splurging, and people they know you have that mindset.
Yeah.
So now they start driving up all the prices, right? And that's actually the same thing in the baby market too, more or less, right? They know if you have a baby, you're gonna spend top dollars for it, right? So you can you'll be like, whoa, why is this crib this expensive? Why is this stroller this expensive? Well, because they know you're gonna pay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what was your first question? Oh, about the toll.
Yeah.
Right? It's just that you have to think about. It's hard to explain to someone that's not a parent yet, right? Because you don't actually haven't felt that bond, that parental love, if you will, right? But think about people who've struggled, who've had miscarriages, who've had a really hard time to start a family, right? Yeah. You're after a year of chaos, of sleepless nights, and that's just of the baby, maybe even years before of endless trying and all sorts of hardships and trials, right? You get to that total and it becomes pretty significant where you go, okay, you know what? It makes no sense to put $5,000 for this venue, but it's my son. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And that's the best way I can.
No, that's actually a great explanation.
Yeah. It's the best way I can explain it without you being physically there, being like, this is it.
No, that's probably a very good explanation of why people do it. Yeah. But I just don't want people to misunderstand my question because I told you it was going to come off the wrong way.
Yeah.
Because I'm not questioning why I would do it or why I would spend so much. I'm just wondering why specific people do it, right? Like you could have, like, anybody could have a small one, right? And just splurge and buy like good stuff, have good like family over and stuff like that, right?
Right.
You can have a smaller one.
Some people do other things besides like the typical tolls that you've been to, right?
So, but I think the question was more so directed towards you because you're having one very soon. Right, so I don't want people to misunderstand saying that you shouldn't have it or I'm against it. I just kind of wanted to understand, get your take on it, and I think you explained it very well.
And I think that one of the cool things about this league is that we've got married people without kids, we've got married people with kids, we've got single people with girlfriends, we've got single people without girlfriends. We have it's not just a dad league with all kids, and it's like, hey, how's life? Like our podcast would be like, how's a kid? Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah. The same conversation, you know what I mean? And especially if we're going to do a segment where we're talking about things that's not just football related, not focused on a singular subject. This is great. It's great to have different aspects, different perspectives, and things like that. So, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. And while you're here and you are in the league with all these youngs that's been through everything, like, take advantage of it.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
I'm going to ask questions that I will, use in the future.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And not to bring, like, religion to it, but, like, our Kuyok Muyom for our, parent Kuyok Muyom, right? We joined that, or we joined it when it started, but, we were, like, the only ones that weren't married. We were just engaged at the time, right? And then, everyone like Chris and Helen and everyone had like kids. So when we got to that point where Carol is pregnant, now also we have a lot of resources, a lot of people,
community.
Right. A
Yeah.
community, and that was, that's the biggest thing. Like, like I probably would have done the Quilt Museum anyways, right? But for me, it was important that I did it. Like, even if I didn't want to do it at that moment, it was like, oh, well, I'm going to have to start a family soon. And I want my kid to grow up as a Catholic. I want him to grow up in a church community.
Yeah.
So you have to be part of it. You have to be active in it, right? And it's been great. It's been great. So you should use that same opportunity. If you're thinking about, purchasing a house. You might be at that crossroads soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might be at that crossroad where you're gonna be like, do I want to go out and rent a place, or do I want to start thinking about mortgages? Right. So,
I got very good resources actually.
Yeah. You got Jite. He's a mortgage lender.
Oh, snap.
He's a loan processor, I believe.
Okay.
Don't be mad at me if loan officer. Don't be mad at me, Jite, if I got that messed up.
Loan officer.
Loan
Yeah.
officer. Yep. But yeah. Yeah, I kind of like the Topher Talk segment.
It's a release off of fantasy.
Yeah. And to kind of going a little bit, I guess, personally, this whole podcasting thing for me, I think I've been so super into it because it's been something that I've been wanting to do, and I don't know why. Just because maybe I listen to a lot of podcasts, like a lot of particular gaming podcasts and things like that, and I was like, oh, it's cool to be able to just talk about something, right? But I think for me, just kind of my situation in life right now with work and how much I'm working and staying away from like home because of work, I don't really have a lot of time to converse with people.
Yeah.
And I work at a coffee shop, I run a coffee shop, so it's like I talk to customers all day, but it's not a genuine conversation. It's a lot of like, the
small talk.
My God, the amount of times I talk about weather. It's
man.
like I have to know everything about the weather. Otherwise,
same conversation. 50
exactly.
people.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, the rain's not letting up today. It's like, I know. Let's just continue the conversation we had yesterday about
I think again, I think that's why everybody agrees that it's you're doing an awesome job with it.
Thank you.
The setup is awesome, like Paul was mentioning.
Yeah.
Nice and cozy.
I just thought that if I was gonna do it, I didn't want to use like these microphone, like USB mics.
Yeah,
it's gonna sound bad because that would be kind of a deterrent, right?
Yeah. But the thing is, knowing your personality, I knew you were gonna go all out. These mic stands are probably for, Joe Rogan or people of that standard.
Well, actually, Joe Rogan does use this mic.
He does, right?
But this setup was a friend of mine. So this whole thing, the whole podcast thing started. I'll just go on a side tangent. When I went to DC for a friend's engagement / farewell party, she's moving to Singapore now with her fiance, right? So this was kind of like the reception, if you will. So it's been hard to go out on weekends because of Garrett, right? We go to sleep early, and there's so much stuff to do. And the following days, it's just easier just to chill at home and just relax. But obviously, I had to go. She was getting engaged, and it was her last party. And this was, I think, the day before. The day before was when Joe Rogan had his podcast with Elon Musk.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah, and he smoked weed on that one, right?
Yeah, and then he got backlashed for that.
Oh my God, yes. So we were at this event, and I was talking to my friend, and we were talking about that particular thing. And I think the point I was making was that like that's all anything and everyone's talking about with that particular episode is him smoking weed, right? When he's talked about so many different things that were so, I did too. I 100% did, and I all these things that are real life, serious concern issues that could affect our kids and our grandkids and just the human race, right? And everyone's like, oh, he smoked weed. Yeah, that's all they got out of it, right? So we were just kind of getting into in-depth conversation about that, and then we went to go to a bar to get a drink, and then I just kind of made this joke, and I was like, man, we should start a podcast, right? My friends overheard me, and was like, yeah, we should do it, and they started thinking it was like a really great idea. And one of my buddies who was there that I'm doing this with, his buddy had like a home radio broadcasting like studio.
Okay.
Right, but he lives in Guatemala now, so he got a job in Guatemala. So this is just sitting in his parents' house, like doing nothing. So he asked him, "Hey, can we use it for the podcasting?" So I was like, "Yeah, if you can like set everything up." So this, I didn't purchase any of this, right? But I had to learn how to do everything, how to hook everything up, all the audio interfaces,
plug it in,
how the routing go, how all the routing goes. So it was a lot of work, and I've been.
But once it's set up. So.
Yes, once it's up and running, then it should be much smoother. But the problem is to get to that point is a lot of work. At least for me,
for sure.
because I'm not versed in this. It's not like I'm in audio like industry or something, you know.
Yeah.
So like once, like I said with this here, if I want to make a soundboard, once that's up and running, that's easy. I can just change whatever sounds I want here, right? But now I have to learn how to connect this into the recording software that I'm running and put it into the mixer and all sorts of crazy technical stuff. So. But it's fun. I'm enjoying it, and I think by the podcasting, it lets me kind of vent, have a voice, not vent, just to talk, right? Just to commute, have a real conversation instead of, hey, I heard it's gonna rain again tomorrow. Don't forget your umbrella. You know what I mean? So and the other thing is, I'm sure all the parents can relate, is that once you have kids, it's even hard to just talk to your spouse. You know, your wife, your husband, because everything's so focused on the kids. You know, even if I talk to Carol about Carol, it's usually like, oh, you know, what do we do for Garrett? You know, he has this bump. What do you think it is? You know, that's what like 90% of our conversation is, and then it's like, oh, how was your day? You know, and it's not that we're growing distant and we don't like each other or whatever. It's just there's just no time, at least in this house, at least. Right, in my current situation. So yeah, podcasting is awesome, you know. And I mean, look at this, it's almost 10:45, right? You came here pretty late, right? Like for me, this will be my only, one of the very few times I can actually have a real conversation.
Yeah,
so
I think it's quality time.
Yeah, it is, and especially talks like this, I'm sure we'll get some good stuff.
Yes, sir.
So Hooney, any last words before we wrap this puppy up? You want to shit talk anyone? You want to say something to who you going against? Your cousin?
No, I'm going against JB.
Oh, you want to say something to JB?
No, I think he's a very psych. Keep going down, yeah, it's going to be a good matchup. Yeah, awesome. I think the one person I want to lose really bad though is probably James Young. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it.
We'll see what he has to say next week about that.
Yeah.
Right. All right, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Good luck this week.
Me. Yes, sir. You as well.
And best of luck to you for the remainder of the league.
Yes, sir.
Good luck with your running backs.
I'll see you at the top.
I'll be there. All right.